Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today I'm driving this Acura TLX A-Spec because courtesy of Mission Viejo Acura, they've got my NSX and they left me with this, which I think is probably like their best car that they got on the lot, other than like their best sedan probably. So A-Spec, I asked them what it means. It just has like cooler wheels, I guess, some blacked out features, lots of A-Spec badges. So there's like one there, one there, one here on this side, and I think there's a couple more inside. But yeah, pretty neat looking car. I mean, it definitely looks a little nicer than your typical TLX. It's got these dual exhausts back here, but let's see if this is just some fake shit. Yep, sure is. It's got these tiny little mufflers, and at least there's literally two exhausts. Sometimes they just give you like a little hole. And then on the inside, you get some nicer seats, some kind of suede. I don't know if I would call that Alcantara, but nice seats. This one has Apple CarPlay, and here's some more A-Spec badges on every door sill. So that's, what is that, 7 badges so far. And then on the steering wheel, you get that A-Spec badge, so that's 8. So I think this probably comes with most of the options. I'm filming with my phone, so I can't show you the Apple CarPlay, but it's typical Apple CarPlay, and you control it with this, which I'm not a huge fan of, honestly. I feel like, look, it's like the iPhone is touchscreen. I mean, Android CarPlay or Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, both touchscreen, and I think they should remain touchscreen or some sort of touch interface. So if you have like a little touchpad down here or whatever, this actually does work really well, but I do find myself having to kind of go like, through all the menu options on the screen just to get to the one I want and press it. It's really not that bad, okay? So it works pretty well. You got push start, which is nice. Those of you who've seen my other videos know I'm kind of a stickler for that, even though a lot of you seem to hate that feature because it will break down and leave you stranded. Okay, nice sunroof. I will say a couple of things I've already noticed. It has the same absolute garbage transmission that comes in most Acuras. It just shifts so goddamn randomly. It's annoying as piss. I can't stand the transmission in Acuras. All of them. They literally all suck. I have to drive a Honda, just like an Accord or something like that, to see if Honda Motor Corp is basically using the same garbage in all their cars. I think they probably are. And if they are, I feel bad for all you Honda drivers. You probably don't know what a good transmission is supposed to feel like. My NSX actually has a proprietary transmission, so that doesn't have that problem. It's not sharing a part with these cars so much. Inside's pretty pleasant. It's comfortable. Let's see here. The trunk, I've just got like a little car seat back here. Did my little shopping at CVS, this sort of thing. Some peanut butter, yeah, fits all my stuff pretty well. And then look at the tragedy that they've created here. There's a tiny little hole for accessing the back seat. I mean, look, that seat, like on the right, it folds down, but who cares if it does? It's only giving you about 10 inches of space on that side. So that's kind of, to me, that's a little retarded. And I'm bringing that term back. It doesn't mean mentally challenged. That means it's retarded. Let's see. What's this? DNA trace system. invisible vehicle security. Oh, that's neat. Maybe one of you guys knows what this is. You can tell me what that is. But there's the code for this car. Go figure out what to do with it. It doesn't look very invisible to me, but maybe maybe there's a sensor somewhere. Again, looks wise, it actually looks like a pretty nice car. And if it wasn't for that transmission, I would really like this car. It feels a little underpowered, but you know, every car in this class kind of feels underpowered to me. And if to me, like today, if you have less than like 380 horsepower in a sedan, that's to me underpowered. But I'm just a little spoiled. But man, looks wise, I don't know how much the extra the A-Spec cost, and I'm not into doing research before these videos because I know you guys have already done all that research. But if it's a reasonable amount of money, meaning if it's less than $4,000 or $5,000 to go A-Spec, I think it's worth it. Because if you look at the regular looking TL, this is definitely a much nicer looking TLX than I've ever seen. I definitely like it. It's kind of got the convenience seats, so when you first open the door, the seat does roll into kind of your entry position. Let's go ahead and start it up, see what you got here. So you see the seat's kind of bringing me forward, and that's what I mean by the convenience seat option. Now, I don't know what Acura calls it, but that is what a lot of manufacturers call it. Yeah, just your standard fare 2-screen system. Acura does this a lot. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. Not the way they do it. I like 2-screen systems, just not the way they do it. But it's pretty clean. It works well. And again, you know, using this to you know, mess with that top screen, not that ideal. This one is equipped with nav. Now I've noticed most of the rental cars aren't, but this one is, which is nice. It's actually quite responsive and very, very fast. You know, does have several kind of options here. Now I did notice that since I've been driving it, I really killed the average fuel and whatnot. But it was like a 28.3 or something like that when I first got it for average fuel. I don't know why it's not loading right now, but that may be something that loads after you start driving or something. But yeah, supposedly pretty good on fuel. You got a little TFT screen here, which is kind of nice. You get to go through your modes with this little dynamic button here, and that'll put you through the different modes. Again, like with other Acura products, except for the NSX, I will say the NSX is like 5 different cars depending on what mode you put it in, or 4 different cars. This, I can't tell the difference between most of these. Before I got interrupted by that phone call. So what I was saying is that I haven't really noticed the difference between these modes. In the NSX, like I said, it does make a huge difference. But again, I'm not comparing the two cars together. They're just both Acura cars, and I want to... Oh, here we go. It's back now. It says 28.3 miles to the gallon over a 678 mile range. I've only been driving it for maybe about 12 miles now. So, you know, even though I probably brought that down by a couple tenths of a mpg, you can kind of assume you're going to get about that much, maybe. It is a rental car, so people probably do drive it kind of hard. You got this, and then it does do a good visor. So the visor's good. Got the auto dimming mirrors. Yeah, so the A-Spec is pretty well loaded. But I will say this, guys. I mean, for this, what I'm assuming is kind of the top of the line TLX, I still feel like I'm sitting in a relatively cheapo car, honestly. For the money, I don't think I would get a TLX. I know I wouldn't, because I couldn't live with that transmission every day. But if for some reason you are not, you know, you're new to planet Earth and you haven't driven car with a decent transmission before, and you decide to go with a TLX, I would maybe get the A-Spec, but I would look at a lot of other cars before I looked at this. I mean, near the same price range, there's quite a few choices. Yeah, that's all. Driving wise, nothing special. I mean, I would do a driving video, but it would be kind of pretty boring. I think the winning parts of this car is just its looks. The A-Spec in black does look pretty boss, I have to say. Let's take one more look at it. I've started it up and I got my snack ready, so I want to get off this video and enjoy my snack. But got these kind of like a gunmetal color wheel, and more or less blacked out all around, and the interior, I guess, like the headliner is kind of blacked out, and you do get these like kind of very sporty looking bucket seats. I don't know if I call these buckets, but yeah, I mean they're seats, and they have like you know, contrast piping and whatnot on them, which is nice. I mean, those are nice touches. And it says A-Spec everywhere. I mean, shit, that's pretty great. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think of the A-Spec and what you think of the TLX. If you think that the transmission is as bad as I think it is in these cars, and what Acura should do about it, or Honda in general. And if you know what that security sticker was about, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Let me know.